Hi, everyone. My name is Nozuko Mzamo. I'm a social edupreneur. I'm a youth champion. I stand for youth. I basically go all out for youth. So I'm an entrepreneur in terms of finding solutions for youth and just getting them access to opportunities. So plugging opportunities and actually then directing and navigating them to that, as well as supporting them in order to be successful when they actually get into those opportunities. So from mentorship to bursaries to graduate programs, internships, but also the other important part is the mentorship and the soft skills development side. So to equip them with the equipment that they need to be successful. Thank you. So back to the question that you were asking now in terms of mentorship and entrepreneurship. For me, and this is my own personal journey, I would say that one has to surround themselves with a support system. If you're starting or embarking on a journey, you need backup. So I run three businesses. So I've got a consulting company, I've got NPC, and I've got a tech company. So I'm not in IT, but I needed to do an app, for instance. I needed to surround myself with an ecosystem that I could tap into in order to make that a success. I run a consulting firm where I needed certain support system where in HR, as Katlego mentioned earlier, he's an HR, for instance. I needed to branch out and know and grow a network outside of the skills that I personally have to say, what skills don't I have so that I can now be aware of where I've got gaps and then plug those gaps in terms of saying, how can I find a mentor who can help me in this aspect? And the one thing that we, and when I say we, this is now more specific around Black people, we are so bad when it comes to wanting to reach out to someone and ask for help. And that's where mentoring comes in. We want mentors to come approach us as mentees and say, oh, can I mentor you, Nozuko? No, it doesn't work like that. It's actually us actually finding someone in our, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's someone that you know from business or someone that you know from your own networks, and reach out and say, you know what, Katlego, I know you're running an HR firm. I'm doing A, B, and C. How can you help me and skill me and help my skills in terms of bridging the gap that I have in this element? And one other thing around mentorship is don't always look for one mentor because you need different people for different aspects. So having one mentor is only for one bit. So we need to open ourselves up and say, okay, I'm going to have a mentor for A, B, and C. I've got a mentor for A, B, and C. And the more mentors you actually have, the better. And the other part is also as mentees, as entrepreneurs, or as whoever you are, it's basically you need to drive those relationships. You need to be able to speak out and say, you know what, you are my mentor, you're not coming to the ball. Or you are my mentor, I need you to help me with A, B, and C. We need to be very direct in what we want. And that goes back to the businesses that we start up as well. We need to be very direct and we need to be very passionate about what we want to do. I was laughing when Katlego mentioned earlier to say that, sorry, Katlego, I keep coming back to you. When you were saying that people go into business to make money. That's not enough. Why are you starting that business? You must always have something that's driving you to do what you want to do. Because if you don't have that drive, that's where you see a lot of business failing because it's someone just waking up and saying, you know what, I just want to wake up and make money. And it doesn't work like that. You need to put in the hard work. Thanks.
And then Nozuko, touching on that. So when you're looking for a mentor, né? So
Mm,
you say you must look for multiple mentors for different things. So
yeah.
is it a thing of just reaching out and asking and hoping that they will come through for you? Or like what's the approach? How should I go about it? Because you know, people will be telling you I don't have time and you are gonna be
Yeah.
like, oh I'm happy. You know what I mean? So is there a
Yeah.
way or is there a strategy or are some mentors getting paid for this? Is it like how does it work?
Okay, so you should never ever pay a mentor. That's number one. So that's already a red flag. If you need to pay a mentor, they're not a mentor. And that's where it's a difference between having a mentor and having a coach. having a business coach, that's different. That's where you actually pay a coach to actually coach you on your business. But when it comes to mentoring, it's more of a volunteer element. And how do you approach mentors? So actually, you just have to reach out to someone, and hopefully they can say yes. And most of the time, as you said, someone's going to say, sorry, I don't have the time. And there's different ways of mentorship. So there's the formal side of things, there's the informal side of things. So on the formal side of things, that's where if you want the mentor to actually, you have a specific program that you want to take them on. For instance, the one with Uputi that was mentioning around NYDA. So that's more of a formal mentorship. But you have informal mentorship where if someone says, you know what, I don't have time, and then actually don't give up and say, you know what, can you then help me in terms of if I get stuck and when I get stuck, can I quickly, whether text you, can I WhatsApp you, can I email you on certain points that you can help me with? They would be more open to that. But if you want someone else, you need to you need to be clear in terms of if you say, hey, Nozuko, I know you said you don't have time, but can we maybe just do a coffee, or can we just meet online for an hour once every second month? And that's where, again, you need to be driving that, because mentors always tend to think when someone reaches out to them, and yes, they cut might be full because they mentor so many other people. But sometimes you need to actually have a different approach in terms of saying, okay, I know your plate is full, but even if I can WhatsApp you now and then when I get stuck, that's more of a better approach. Then they'll be actually welcoming that and say, you know what, I can take a message now and then. That doesn't require much of my time. And I have also those mentors where actually they said no, and I kept insisting, and I said, okay, I know you said no, but now and then I'll just run a few things past you. And they're like, okay, sure, we can do like you asking questions and I answer, and that's it. And then again, you have other mentors who will say, you know what, let's meet once a month, or let's meet once every second month, or even once every 6 months. Or then you've got the other mentors that are really giving more of their time, where they'll say then, okay, I can basically walk this journey with you. And that's more of the mentor that you literally just, whether it's Monday, whether it's Sunday, you know, you've got them on your side. But in terms of approaching, you just need to throw the net very wide. Excuse me, throw the net very wide and ask. That's the first step. You need to ask. Don't be shy and say, oh, but no, they're already going to say no. You already blocked yourself. If you're already blocking yourself, then don't even bother going to the mentor. A business coach versus a mentor. So a mentor is just someone that you basically run to. They kind of like your go-to pillar for questions, etc., or for helping you just get out of being stuck in a zone. Where it comes to a business coach is basically now literally looking at your business and saying, okay, Nozuko, you're saying that you've started this, you want to break even A, B, and C. So now let's look at what your strategy looks like. What's your sales plan looking like? What's your business model looking like? They like literally diving deep into your business plan and dissecting it and saying, okay, these are the gaps. You need to implement A, B, and C. They literally kind of doing a DNA of your business. And then from that, they actually saying, okay, this is what you need to do in order to turn it around. Where a mentor is not necessarily going to say, you know what, yes, they're going to mentor you to say you're going the wrong way, you know, come back this way, etc., provide networks. But where it's, so look at it as going to your friend and saying, I've got a headache, they'll give you a Panado. But actually, when you're now really sick, you go to the hospital and you get admitted, you get a whole prognosis of A, B, and C. So that's more like a difference in terms of your mentor and your coach. And that's where business coach actually is where the payment comes in. And that's where you actually have to pay them because they're providing a service. It's a formal service they're providing. There's deliverables that they need to actually deliver on. There's KPIs, there's all of that, where with a mentor, there isn't really hard and fast set rules in terms of saying, okay, these are the KPIs, these are the undertakings of you helping me on this journey around. So it's more of a formalized, stricter relationship.
Okay, thank you so much.
And just to add to what Ho was sharing, so it's quite paramount to have certain skills and basic skills. So you don't want to run a business and you can't even understand your own financials. That's how people get dropped, and next thing they were making profits, and then next thing they know they in the red. And also governance is one key element in terms of understanding in your business, what permits do you need, what requirements do you need with SARS, for instance. You don't want to be claiming VAT from people on your invoices, but you're not paying the VAT back to SARS, and next thing you get hit by this 2 million SARS bill, for instance. You need to understand your HR policies. And that's the thing, that as business owners, you need to be able to dive into every part of your business. Whether if someone was off sick, you should be able to at least understand the basics of what's happening on there. So that's one. The other part is, so those are the hard skills where you can, as Katlego mentioned, that you can go like do a 1-month course somewhere, you can go and do A, B, and C. But the other part is the soft side of things. Know how to build relationships. That's a very important skill that people need to have. Because if you can't build relationships, how are you going to drive sales? How are you going to do your marketing? How are you going to basically build networks that will now come to you as your to your business and say, you know what, we know A, B, and C from, I heard from so and so. That's part of brand reputation as well. That soft skill in terms of knowing how to basically brand your business, how to build and leverage the networks that you have. It's a very important skill that people forget. They always focus on, okay, let me do the hard skills, but then forget about the soft skills of knowing how to manage people, how to basically drive people to your business. You need to become your own brand ambassador at the end. And that's a soft skill that business owners need to literally have. And someone will say, no, but I'm not a people's person. No one's a people's person. But you can learn in terms of your emotional intelligence, in terms of saying, how do you actually equip yourself with EQ to basically make sure your business is a success? So if, let's say, you're coming in as two people wanting to start a business together, and that's where that collaboration comes in. So one person says, you know what, I've got access to the capital, and the other person says, I've got the skills and the know-how. But just make sure that with both people, whether they're collaborating or partnering, is the drive and the passion is there for both, whether you're bringing in just the capital side and someone else is bringing with a skill. The drive needs to be literally there for both people, because if one person comes with the drive and then the other one is lacking, that's going to basically drown and drag your business down.
So can you please share with us a bit about your initiatives as well, because we didn't actually touch base on it. Yes. You're on mute.
Oops, there we go. No, I had to swap from my laptop to the phone. So yeah, I thought I pressed unmute there. So in terms of the initiatives I'm involved in, so I run a consulting company called Okio. So the consulting in terms of, we work with corporates and NGOs in terms of strategies, CSI strategies, youth development program strategies that they want to embark on, and graduate programs, mentorship, bursaries, etc. And in terms of the other businesses I run, so I've got an app that has been launched around youth access, providing access for youth into different opportunities in terms of global opportunities, and also in the continent around where they can study, where they can find funding, where they can actually attend youth events around soft skills development, and as well as employment opportunities, and just other plug points in terms of resources in terms of them starting their own businesses. And that is called the Global Student Support Platform. And I've got an NPC that I also manage and co-founded with some partners of mine. And that works with schools around literacy and numeracy programs that we just try to uplift them in order to be more successful. As some of you might know, that South African youth, especially grade 4s, can't read as a function. So we're trying to just change that in order then to plow back in terms of them being successful in their education and careers going forward. And that is EduTube Foundation. And those are the three companies and babies, I call them, that I manage. But in closing around entrepreneurship, I strongly encourage people to go into it, but to go into it knowing that it's hard work. A lot of people go into it thinking, oh, you know what, I want to get rich, or I want to do A, B, and C, but go into it with a purpose. If you don't have a purpose, that challenge is even going to be even more hectic for you. So if you've got a purpose in terms of why you want to go into business, go for it. And rather also get education, educate yourself. And it doesn't have to be formal education, but educate yourself so that you can actually be successful in your business venture. There's nothing more heartbreaking than starting something, putting in all the hard work and driving it, only to lack certain skill sets that will actually then make your business drown. So please educate yourself, and you can start and educate yourself as you're going. You can do both. So remember, those two go hand in hand together, and support yourself with an ecosystem of support people and champions that are there to support you and are there to literally tell you the truth and be open to accepting the truth. Sometimes you don't want to hear the truth because it might be a bit rocky. We're like, nah, I don't want to hear these news. But sometimes those are the truths that you need to open yourselves up to in order to change and actually build your business to a better stance and becoming more successful. Thank you very much.
Before you leave, I have one more question. I know we're closing, but just this question. In, in terms of your youth development programs or initiative, what challenges have you encountered?
Okay, so one of the challenges is, please don't kill me for this, but let's try. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, so in terms of the challenges with youth is it's the follow through. There isn't follow through on stuff where, let's say you say there's this opportunity, apply for this funding or apply for A, B, and C. They'll say, sure, doing it. And then you go back to check, oh no, I didn't have data, but you had a whole week. So why didn't you put up your hand and say, I didn't have data or A, B, and C? But also in terms of accepting, so sometimes advice and feedback isn't what you think you wanted to hear. So being open to actually accepting that. So once you say something that they don't want to hear, then they run away, because now it's like, okay, no, you want him to kill my dream, or you want him to kill this and this, instead of saying, no, actually trying to assist you so you can just restructure what you're thinking and maybe do it like A, B, and C. So in terms of accepting advice and feedback, and also in terms of just following through with things that they start. So the help is there, and then you say, okay, I can help you with your business plan. Draft it, and then they'll like, oh, but weren't you going to draft it for me? It's like, no, you will do the homework, and then I will help you with that homework. So those are just some of the elements and challenges that I'm seeing when it comes to youth. They want everything to just land on their laps, and life is not like that. So if you don't going to be direct, and if you're not going to push your own dream, no one else is going to push it for you.